If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be notified of new videos. If you think the government has more information about UFOs from an alternate parallel universe, you are not alone. In fact, you are part of the majority. Recent surveys reveal that 68% of people are convinced that governments are hiding the truth about the alien issue, and 33% of all respondents said that UFOs came from other worlds. But almost as interesting as any government plot, which is why it is kept secret. Plot responses cover a wide range of possibilities. They would bring peace to the world, create chaos, offer advanced technology to the people, or perhaps want to enslave us. But apart from the anonymous, politicians also feel a certain fascination for the extraterrestrial question. Therefore, when one of them becomes president, the first thing they do is inquire. For example, on the live TV show Jimmy Kimmel. In 2014, Bill Clinton revealed that, at the White House, he requested that the secret files for Area 51 and Roswell be examined. So it makes sense that the government is hiding the truth from us. Even so, many politicians and officials have publicly denounced that governments hide the existence of alien races on our planet, even cooperating with military and space agencies. And this was the case of the former French intelligence director Alain Juliet, who comes from UFOs from an alternate parallel universe for the first time. A former director of the Foreign Intelligence Agency (DGSE) of the French Republic, Alain Juliet, speak without reserve of a subject which remains for many a massive plot: the UFO phenomenon and extraterrestrial life. With his vast experience, he promotes a pragmatic approach and an open mind to solve a mystery too important to be left to believers and dogmatic skeptics. July is one of the relevant voices which, among politicians, scientists, and the military, brings its point of view in a new documentary entitled UFO, A Matter of the States, carried out by Dominique Filhol. There is a term that is repeated more and more often among specialists in the field, sums up Filhol, marked since childhood by spectacular testimonies from members of his family who have observed inexplicable phenomena. This is the idea of non-human intelligence. This term is interesting because it does not reject the extraterrestrial hypothesis, but it includes other theories on the nature of the phenomenon. French UFO intelligence director, former French intelligence director, says UFOs come from an alternate parallel universe. The shooting of the documentary reinforced his convictions. The phenomenon became palpable. As he explains, he had the chance to record a meeting of the members of the Sigma II Commission, which studies UFOs rigorously and scientifically. The succession of testimonies and analyses on UFOs reminds us that UFOs exist, at least as a subject of study, although their nature remains elusive, and the former head of the French Foreign Intelligence Agency shared some rather remarkable ideas on the UFO phenomenon. Alain Juliet was head of the General Directorate of External Security, which is similar to the CIA in the United States, between 2002 and 2003, as well as the Chief of Economic Intelligence of the French Prime Minister for the next 6 years. Although he had not previously spoken publicly about the UFO phenomenon, the former officer wanted to reveal some really shocking data. In addition to the documentary, Juliet was interviewed by the French magazine Paris Match on the mystery of unidentified flying objects. At the start of the conversation, he explained that when today we see inexplicable things, we know we can explain them tomorrow. July went on to point out that the subject cannot be dismissed as nonsense since many UFO witnesses are credible people, such as military pilots and astronauts who have made specific reports on what they have seen. In the particular area of UFOs, not to mention the people who see a flying saucer landing in a field, there are fighter pilots, astronauts, people who are anything but funny and report very precise sightings, said July. We must not say that they do not make sense, but only recognize that there are things that escape us. He also pointed out that these objects do not appear to obey the laws of physics and are apparently immune to gravity. To this end, July intriguingly that a nation is unlikely to develop such incredible vehicles because such a lead would have already been disclosed. Suggesting that UFOs could come from parallel worlds, he postulated that we understand these phenomena much better through the prism of quantum physics than with that of current physics. We know that the Americans have done a very serious study with a big budget to try to understand, continued the former director of the DGSE. And it seems that other great powers, in particular Russia and China, did the same, undoubtedly for the same reasons, to discover if there is something behind the UFO phenomenon which, technically speaking, can be interesting. UFO intelligence director, former French intelligence director says UFOs come from an alternate parallel universe, reflecting on how much of the UFO study has been conducted secretly by nations around the world. The former head of the intelligence agency offered an interesting perspective that he did not think the secret was really useful, for unless we find disturbing things, and, so far, there has been no aggressive intent on these ships. Surprisingly, he also expressed the opinion that the world would quickly adapt to the reality of UFOs if such a revelation were made. He even predicted that in 5 years everyone will accept it as a commonplace phenomenon. The truth is that it is quite surprising that the former director of intelligence dares to make such revelations and even give his opinion. Undoubtedly, many people believe that this type of public demonstration is simply a strategy to prepare the population for imminent extraterrestrial contact. Although it is also possible that they wish to present themselves as saviors at a time when the world is in the grip of the pandemic of coronavirus, and thus to establish their medical centers in the whole world for the sole purpose of having controlled the cattle that they will serve later, of food. Who knows? If we take for granted the theory that UFOs come from an alternate parallel universe, we can also accept the possibility that their arrival. What do you think of the revelation of the former director of the intelligence agency? Is this one more step for the first contact?